Hello, friends. Today I'm going to read you a Valentine book called The Valentine Bear. And this is written by Eve Bunting, and the pictures are by Jan Brett. Now, I've read you lots of stories by Jan Brett, but this book is written by Eve Bunting, and the pictures are by Jan Brett. Now, this is a book that my friend Mrs. Kunish that used to teach kindergarten, she's like, you have to find that book. This used to be a book that she read to her boys and girls. Even though it's an old book and it's mostly in black and white and a little bit of color, it's a really cute story. I think you'll enjoy it. So it's called The Valentine Bears, and this is the hint on the back. All right, let's get started. The Valentine Bears. It was October 14th, and the bear's den was snug and secure for the winter. So October is like a month after you start school. Mrs. Bear set her alarm for February 14th. So it was October 14th. That would be November, December, January, February. 4 months. Okay? Then she curled herself comfortably against Mr. Bear's back and listened to his snores. It was good to settle down for a long 4 months' sleep. When the alarm went off 4 months later, Mrs. Bear could hardly believe it. It seemed like she had just gone to bed. My, she said, yawning, spring already? Then she remembered. It wasn't spring yet. She'd set her alarm early for a special reason. Wonder what that reason is. Do you have it figured out already? Maybe. Mrs. Bear stretched and scratched, kissed Mr. Bear on his nose, and got up. Mr. Bear could sleep through just about anything, and she was glad. She had things to do. First, she made a sign. It's nice to share Valentine's Day with someone you love. She tacked the sign on the wall so Mr. Bear would see it the instant he awoke. That means right away. Leaves had blown into the den while they slept. Mrs. Bear brushed them into a pile and swept them outside. Brr, she said, standing at the front of the den. You'd think they'd put this special day in summer. Mr. Bear and I have never shared a Valentine's Day in all our years together. So she got up early, a few months early, to celebrate Valentine's Day. Mrs. Bear dug up the honey pot she'd buried in the fall. She pawed off the lid and smiled. It was fruity and rich and smelled of summer, just the way Mr. Bear liked it. Mrs. Bear carried the pot inside and put it on the table next to the bowl of crunchy, dried beetles and bugs. Crispy critters! How Mr. Bear loved crispy critters. If you look close, you can see they're beetles. But that's what bears like, right? She had made 2 Valentine poems way back in the summer. Now she got them out of her dresser. One said, "Red berries are red, blue berries are blue. Termites are sweet, and so are you." The other said, "Your teeth are so sharp, your claws are so fine. Dear Mr. Bear, you are my Valentine." She couldn't decide which poem she liked best, so she decided to give both to Mr. Bear. Mrs. Bear huddled herself deep in her coat and went outside again. "Only crazy creatures would be out in this early in the year," she muttered. Remember, she's not used to being awake when it was winter time. So let's read that again. "Only crazy creatures would be out this early in the year," she muttered. The sun shone through the haze pale as milk. Crows cawed in the white air. The arms of the tree scratched at the sky. Mrs. Bear clawed away the ice on top of the pond. She splashed water on her ears and muzzle. She sleeked her head fur and took a long, cold drink. It was time to waken Mr. Bear. So down here you can see where she went to the pond and she broke the ice so she could get her water. She cleaned herself up a little bit, had a nice long drink, and now it's ready. She's ready to go wake up Mr. Bear. Mr. Bear's snores drifted from the den, and she smiled. Mr. Bear could sleep through just about anything. Mrs. Bear shook his shoulders. "Time to get up, Mr. Bear." Snoring Mr. Bear. Mrs. Bear shook harder. "Wake up, Mr. Bear." Mr. Bear shrugged her away and turned his face to the wall. "Just another 5 weeks, he begged. Are some of you like that when you have to get out of bed in the morning? Just 5 more minutes. Mrs. Bear poked his back. "Happy Valentine's Day!" Mr. Bear curled himself into a fur ball. He said. "Oh, no, you don't." Mrs. Bear pulled Mr. Bear's ears until he uncurled himself. She tickled his paws. She pried open his eyes and watched them drop close again. Said Mr. Bear. It tickled my throat. Mrs. Bear sighed. She took their empty berry can, snuggled deep in her coat, and went back outside. A wolverine slept safe in a hollow log. A deer drank from the pond. It stopped drinking and looked at Mrs. Bear with surprise as she filled the berry can. Mrs. Bear decided the deer had never seen a bear up and about so early. So if you look real close right back there, you can see the deer. And over here, the wolverine is sleeping in their den. What do you think Mrs. Bear is going to do? Do you have any guess? She carried the can of ice water inside. "I'm sorry about this, Mr. Bear," she said, "but you just can't keep sleeping. This is a very special day. 1, 2, 3. What do you think she's going to do? Let's see. Oh, I missed a page. We can't miss this page. This one's pretty exciting. Surprise! Mr. Bear sat straight up. It was a surprise, all right. Mrs. Bear jumped and the ice water splashed all over her. So she was ready to do it to Mr. Bear. Is that what you thought was going to happen? Yeah, me too. But instead, he surprised her and shouted and sat up, and it scared her so much that she dumped it on herself. Mr. Bear hugged her. "You thought I could sleep through just about anything, didn't you?" he boomed. "Well, I fooled you. Happy Valentine's Day." He pulled a box from under his pillow. "I've had these here all along." "Oh, Mr. Bear, chocolate-covered ants, my very favorite." Mr. Bear licked his lips. "Mine, too." He admired the sign on the wall. Then Mrs. Bear ran for the poems, and Mr. Bear read them aloud. "Dear Mr. Bear, you are my Valentine." "That's lovely." His nose wrinkled. "Is that fruity, rich summer honey I smell?" Mrs. Bear smiled. "Will you join me at the table?" They sat together, sharing the Valentine treats, till shadows filled the den, and the bowl and the box and the honey pot were empty, and the special day was ended. And then they went to sleep again until spring. What a fun story, isn't it? Yes. All right. I hope you have a great day. And I will see you back here again tomorrow. Bye-bye.